When the morning arrives with a weight on your chest and your thoughts feel restless before the day even begins, remember this truth deeply within your spirit. God is not distant from you at the start of this day, and He hears your voice even before you find the strength to speak it aloud. There is a sacred mystery in the quiet hours of the morning, a space where heaven leans closer and God listens more attentively to the whispers of a weary heart that longs for rest. The world may offer noise, pressure and urgency, but true peace does not come from what surrounds you. It comes from who surrounds you. When you begin your day by turning your attention toward the presence of the Lord, something shifts inside you, because peace is not produced by control. It is received through trust. Today, before the demands of life begin to speak loudly, God is inviting you to rest your heart in Him and let His calm settle over every anxious thought. This new morning is not accidental, and your awakening today is not random, because God has allowed you to see this day for a reason that goes far beyond routine. As the sun rises, heaven is already aware of what has been weighing on your mind and pressing on your heart. The concerns that followed you into sleep and the worries that greeted you upon waking are fully known by the one who watches over you without rest. God sees the uncertainty you carry, the questions you do not have answers for, and the quiet fears you rarely speak about. Yet even now, He is offering you something greater than solutions. He is offering you peace. Today is an opportunity to release what has been gripping your heart too tightly and surrender the weight you were never meant to carry alone. You may feel pressure to be strong, to figure everything out, or to hold yourself together, but God is not asking you for perfection. He is asking you for trust. Peace begins when you stop fighting the need to control outcomes and start resting in the assurance that God is already involved. When you place your worries into His hands, you make room for His presence to fill the empty spaces anxiety once occupied. This is not weakness. This is faith in action. There is a deep and lasting peace that God desires to place within you today. Not a fragile calm that disappears at the first sign of trouble, but a steady peace that remains even when circumstances feel uncertain. This peace does not come from having all the answers or seeing immediate change. It comes from knowing who holds your life. God's peace reaches into the parts of your heart that logic cannot reach, and quiets fears that words cannot silence. It is the kind of peace that anchors you when the world feels unstable and holds you steady when emotions feel overwhelming. This is the peace God wants you to experience today. What you are about to receive is not ordinary encouragement or temporary comfort. It is a spiritual exchange where God meets you exactly where you are. He knows what kept you awake, what drained your energy, and what has been silently troubling you. Nothing about your situation is hidden from Him, and nothing about your pain is dismissed. The fact that you are here right now is a sign that heaven is paying attention to your heart. God has drawn you here because today, more than answers, you need His peace. Scripture reminds us that when we call out to God, He does not ignore our cry or delay His compassion. God responds to those who seek Him with sincerity, not because they are flawless, but because they are willing to trust Him. When anxiety rises, God invites you to speak to Him honestly, without fear of judgment or rejection. He does not ask you to hide your distress or minimize your emotions. Instead, He meets you in the middle of them and offers relief that reaches deeper than circumstances. Peace is not the absence of problems. It is the presence of God in the middle of them. When God becomes your resting place, your surroundings no longer dictate your emotional state. Even when life feels uncertain, your heart can remain secure because your confidence is rooted in Him. This kind of peace allows you to move through your day without being controlled by fear or overwhelmed by pressure. It is a peace that strengthens you from the inside out. God's peace is meant to follow you throughout your day and into your night, guarding your thoughts and calming your spirit. It is not limited to a moment of prayer, but intended to become a steady presence within you. When peace takes root in your heart, it begins to influence how you think, how you respond, and how you rest. Anxiety loses its grip when peace becomes your foundation. God desires to establish that foundation within you today. Right now, your heart may be tired from carrying questions that feel unanswered and situations that feel unresolved. But God is reminding you that rest does not come from knowing what will happen next. It comes from knowing who is with you right now. He is not asking you to predict the future, only to trust Him in the present. When you surrender your need for certainty, you open your heart to divine peace. This is where true rest begins. As you prepare to enter into this time of prayer, allow yourself to slow down and become aware of God's nearness. Let the tension in your body release as you acknowledge that you are not alone. God is not rushing you, pressuring you, or demanding more than you can give. He is inviting you to rest, to listen, and to receive. His peace is not earned through effort. It is received through surrender. This moment is sacred, not because of perfection, but because of intention. When you choose to pause and turn your heart toward God, you create space for Him to move within you. The noise of life may still exist around you, but peace can begin to settle within you. God is ready to meet you here, exactly as you are. Nothing about you needs to change before His peace arrives. If your heart feels stirred right now, and you sense that this message is speaking directly to your situation, take a moment to respond in faith. Write in the comments, "God answers me," not as a habit, but as a declaration of trust. When you write it, you are acknowledging that your peace is not dependent on circumstances, but on God's faithfulness. This simple act becomes a statement of surrender and belief. By declaring it, you are choosing to place your confidence in God rather than outcomes you cannot control. You are affirming that even if answers take time, God is still present. You are reminding your heart that heaven is listening and that your voice matters to God. This declaration is not about convincing God. It is about aligning your heart with truth. God hears you, sees you, and knows exactly what you need. Peace begins to grow when you stop fighting your worries alone and start trusting God with them. Anxiety thrives in isolation, but peace flourishes in surrender. When you declare that God answers you, you interrupt the cycle of fear that tells you you are alone. You replace uncertainty with assurance and worry with trust. This is the beginning of transformation. Today, you are not stepping into this day unsupported or unprotected. God goes before you, walks beside you, and watches over you with care. His peace is available to you not as a distant promise, but as a present reality. What He is offering you today is rest for your soul, not just relief for your circumstances. And as you continue, your heart will begin to feel the shift. Stay here, stay present, and stay open, because this is only the beginning. God is preparing your heart to receive deeper peace, stronger rest, and renewed confidence in His care. What He is about to do within you will carry through your entire day. Let your heart remain open as we continue. When you begin to feel that calm settling in, understand that it is not just emotion, it is a spiritual covering, and God is teaching your heart how to rest even while life still moves around you. Peace is not a feeling you chase, it is a place you enter, and that place is the presence of the Lord, who promises to be near to the brokenhearted and close to those who are overwhelmed. The enemy wants your mind to run ahead of your day, replaying problems, imagining outcomes, and rehearsing fear. But God is calling you back to this moment, where His voice is louder than your worry. You do not have to carry tomorrow on your shoulders today, because God only asks you to walk one step at a time with Him, trusting that He will supply what you need when you need it. As you breathe slowly and release the tightness in your chest, let your soul remember that God is your refuge, and refuge is not something you earn, it is something you receive. There are burdens that have been sitting on your heart for so long, they have started to feel normal. But God never designed your spirit to live under constant pressure. Some worries came from responsibilities, some from painful memories, some from words people spoke over you, and some from battles you have been fighting in silence. but none of them are too heavy for God to lift. What you call overwhelming, God calls manageable, because his strength does not have limits the way yours does, and his wisdom does not run out the way human answers do. The same God who holds the oceans in place is able to hold your life steady, even when everything feels uncertain. You are not weak because you feel tired, and you are not failing because your heart has been restless. You are simply human, and God is simply faithful. Today you are learning that faith is not pretending everything is fine. Faith is giving God what hurts and trusting him to meet you there. Sometimes the reason peace feels difficult is because your mind has been trained to stay on alert, as if rest is dangerous and calm is irresponsible. You may have learned to expect bad news, to brace yourself for disappointment, and to stay emotionally prepared for problems. But that kind of constant guarding will exhaust your soul. God is not asking you to ignore reality. He is asking you to stop letting fear interpret reality for you. When fear speaks, it always exaggerates the threat and minimizes God. But when God speaks, he magnifies his power and reminds you that he is with you. Peace comes when you choose whose voice will lead your thoughts, because your thoughts become the doorway through which either fear or faith enter. Today, God is helping you close the door to anxiety and open the door to trust. There is a reason Scripture teaches that God gives relief in distress, because his peace was never meant only for easy seasons. It was designed for your hardest moments. Peace is most powerful when it shows up in the middle of unanswered questions, because then you know it did not come from circumstances, it came from God. When you learn to rest in God, you stop being controlled by urgency, and you start living with spiritual stability that cannot be shaken by sudden changes. This kind of peace does not mean you will never feel pressure again. It means pressure will no longer have authority over your heart. You begin to respond rather than react, to breathe rather than panic, to pray rather than spiral. God is building something in you that lasts, and it is called divine rest. Let your heart hear this clearly. You are not abandoned in what you are facing, and you are not forgotten in what you are carrying. God has not lost track of your situation, and he has not turned his face away from your tears, because every cry you have whispered has already been noticed in heaven. Even if people do not understand, even if you cannot explain it well, God understands perfectly, because he sees the full picture, not just the part that hurts. He knows what you need emotionally, spiritually, physically, and mentally, and he is able to supply it in ways you did not expect. There are moments when God brings peace before he brings answers, not to ignore the problem, but to keep the problem from destroying you while he works. This is why you can breathe again, because God is working even when you cannot see it. As you move deeper into this prayer journey, I want you to allow God to touch the hidden places of your heart, the places where you hold fear, shame, regret, and disappointment. Peace cannot fully settle where the soul refuses to release what it is gripping. So today, begin to open your hands in your spirit and let God carry what you cannot. Release the need to understand every detail. Release the need to control every outcome. Release the need to fix everything immediately. God is not threatened by your questions, and he is not offended by your weakness, because his love is steady and his patience is deep. He is teaching you how to trust him like a child trusts a father, not because the child understands life, but because the child knows who is holding them. That is the rest God is giving you now. There is also a difference between quietness and peace, because you can be in a silent room and still feel loud inside. But when God's peace comes, it quiets the storms you cannot silence on your own. It calms the racing thoughts that keep returning, and it softens the sharp fear that sits in the back of your mind, like a warning siren. It slows the inner rush that makes you feel like you are behind, even when you are doing your best. God's peace brings you back into alignment, where your heart is not pulled in 10 directions by stress. It centers you, steadies you, and reminds you that your life is not out of God's hands. Even if your schedule is full, your heart can still be rested when God is at the center. Let this truth sink into you. Peace is not something you will feel only during prayer. It is something you can carry into your conversations, your responsibilities and your decisions. When you step into your day with God's peace, you stop giving panic permission to lead you, and you stop letting fear define your choices. You begin to think more clearly because your mind is no longer clouded by constant worry. You begin to speak differently because your words start coming from faith rather than frustration. You begin to move differently because you are not rushing as if everything will collapse if you slow down. This is the fruit of trusting God, and it is what He wants to grow in you. Now, do not be surprised if your heart tries to go back to old habits, because worry can become familiar, and the mind sometimes returns to what it knows even if it is harmful. But each time anxiety tries to rise again, you can return to this truth. God hears you, God is near, and God is able. You do not have to fight fear with your own strength. You fight it by returning to what God has said. When fear tells you that you will not make it, God tells you that He will sustain you. When worry says you are alone, God says He will never leave you. When your mind says there is no way forward, God says He will make a way in the wilderness. And as you continue, allow your faith to become practical. Because trust is not only what you believe, trust is what you do with what you believe. Trust is choosing to pray when you want to panic, choosing to worship when you want to complain, and choosing to release control when you want to tighten your grip. Trust is surrendering your day to God, not once, but again and again, every time your heart tries to carry more than it should. God is not asking you to become fearless overnight. He is asking you to keep coming back to Him, because every return strengthens your peace. The more you return, the more your spirit learns that rest is safe when God is your safety. Let the presence of God become the first place you run, not the last place you try after everything else has failed. Too often we treat prayer like an emergency exit, but God wants it to be your daily entrance into peace. He wants your mornings to begin with surrender and your nights to end with trust, because He knows what that does to the soul. A life that starts in God becomes a life that stays steadier when storms come. A heart that rests in God becomes a heart that does not collapse under pressure. This is how God strengthens you, not by removing every challenge, but by giving you peace that keeps you standing. So as you remain here, I want you to expect something gentle but powerful, because God often brings peace like a river, not like a sudden flash, and you begin to notice it slowly. You notice that your breathing is easier, your thoughts are calmer, your chest is lighter, and the heaviness is not pressing you the same way it was before. That is not nothing. That is God at work within you, strengthening you from the inside out. The same God who began this peace in you will continue it, because He does not start what He will not finish. Stay open, stay present, and keep your heart soft before Him. You are being led into a deeper kind of rest, a rest that does not depend on perfect circumstances, but depends on perfect love. God's love does not shift with your emotions, and it does not disappear when you struggle, because it is anchored in His character. When you remember that you are loved, you stop trying to earn peace, and you start receiving it as a gift. This day is not just another day to survive. It is a day God will walk with you, strengthen you, and cover you. And as we continue forward, you will feel that peace becoming steadier, deeper, and more secure within you. As your heart continues to slow, and your spirit becomes more aware of God's nearness, understand that this peace is not fragile, and it is not something that disappears the moment pressure appears. God's peace is designed to stand firm when emotions fluctuate and when circumstances feel unstable, because it is rooted in His character, not in your comfort. Many people believe peace is something they will feel once everything is resolved, but God often gives peace first, so your heart does not collapse while He works behind the scenes. When peace arrives before answers, it teaches your soul to trust God's timing instead of demanding immediate clarity. This is how God trains your spirit to remain steady even when life feels unpredictable. There are moments when your mind will try to replay past mistakes or future fears, but peace invites you back into the present where God is already waiting for you. Anxiety pulls your thoughts forward into imagined disasters or backward into regret. But God's peace anchors you in the now, where His grace is sufficient. When you stay present with God, you stop borrowing trouble from tomorrow and stop punishing yourself for yesterday. God does not meet you in imagined futures or painful pasts. He meets you right here, right now, exactly where you are. And when you learn to stay with Him in this moment, peace becomes a daily experience rather than a rare event. You may notice that as peace settles in, your reactions begin to soften, and things that once triggered immediate stress no longer have the same power over you. This does not mean the problems have vanished. It means your heart is no longer ruled by fear. God is teaching you how to respond from faith rather than react from anxiety, and that shift changes everything. When faith leads, your words become calmer, your decisions become clearer, and your emotions become more balanced. This is not emotional suppression. This is spiritual alignment. God knows how easily the human heart becomes restless, especially when there are unanswered questions hanging in the air. He understands the temptation to replay conversations, analyze outcomes, and search for certainty where none is immediately available. That is why He invites you to lay these thoughts before Him, not to shame you, but to free you. Peace grows when you stop trying to resolve everything in your mind and instead rest in the truth that God is already at work, even when you cannot see progress. Heaven is never inactive. There is something powerful that happens when you choose to trust God in uncertainty, because trust is the soil where peace takes root. Trust does not mean you deny difficulty. It means you refuse to let difficulty define your inner world. When you trust God, you acknowledge that your understanding is limited, but His wisdom is complete. You accept that you do not need to see the whole picture to believe He is good. And in that surrender, peace quietly strengthens your heart. God's peace also protects you from becoming hardened by stress and disappointment, because constant anxiety can slowly shape your character if it is left unchecked. Fear can make you defensive, impatience can make you harsh, and worry can make you emotionally distant, but peace keeps your heart tender. When peace reigns, you remain compassionate even when tired, patient even when frustrated, and hopeful even when results are delayed. This is why God cares so deeply about your peace, because it preserves the condition of your heart. A guarded heart is protected not by walls, but by peace. As you continue listening, allow God to gently confront the false belief that rest must be earned through productivity or perfection. Many people feel guilty when they rest, as if slowing down means they are failing or falling behind. But God does not view rest as laziness. Rest is an act of trust that says you believe God can sustain what you release. When you rest, you declare that your life is not held together by your effort alone. You allow God to do what only He can do while you stop striving. Peace also teaches you to release comparison, because anxiety often grows when you measure your life against others. You may look at someone else's progress, stability, or success and feel pressure to catch up. But God never asked you to live someone else's story. When you compare, you ignore the unique timing and purpose God has designed for you. Peace reminds you that your journey is personal and your season is intentional. God is not late with your life, and He is not careless with your story. There will be moments when peace feels challenged, not because God has withdrawn, but because life will still test what you are learning. These moments are not setbacks. They are opportunities to practice what you are receiving right now. Each time you choose prayer over panic, stillness over spiraling, and trust over control, peace grows stronger within you. God does not expect perfection. He desires persistence. Returning to Him again and again is how peace becomes your natural response. Let your heart remember that God's peace is not passive. It is active and powerful. It stands guard over your thoughts, filters what enters your mind, and gently redirects you when fear tries to take over. Peace does not ignore danger. It simply refuses to exaggerate it. When peace is present, you can face challenges with clarity instead of chaos. God's peace gives you the strength to move forward without being consumed by what could go wrong. As peace settles deeper, you may begin to feel less urgency to fix everything immediately. And that is a healthy shift. Urgency often comes from fear, but patience grows from trust. God works in seasons, layers and processes, not rushed moments driven by panic. When you slow down, you give God room to lead instead of forcing outcomes. Peace allows you to walk at God's pace instead of racing ahead without Him. You are learning that peace is not something you wait for after the storm. It is something you carry with you through the storm. This kind of peace does not collapse when plans change or when answers are delayed. It remains steady because it is rooted in relationship, not results. God wants your heart to experience this stability because it changes how you endure hardship. When peace is present, endurance becomes possible without bitterness. God also knows that restlessness often comes from the fear of being forgotten, overlooked, or left behind. But peace reassures you that God sees you fully and remembers you constantly. Your prayers are not lost, your tears are not wasted, and your faith is not unnoticed. Heaven is attentive to your life even when you feel invisible on earth. This awareness allows peace to settle into the places where insecurity once lived. Let this peace remind you that God is not only concerned with what you do, but deeply invested in who you are becoming. He cares about your inner life, your emotional health, and your spiritual well-being. You are not a project to Him. You are a beloved child. When you rest in this truth, you stop trying to prove your worth through performance. Peace grows when identity is rooted in love rather than achievement. As you remain here, your spirit is being recalibrated gently and quietly without force or pressure. God often works in stillness because it is there that we are most open and receptive. The more you allow yourself to stay present with Him, the more natural this peace will feel. It will begin to follow you beyond this moment into your thoughts, your conversations, and your decisions. Peace will no longer feel foreign. It will feel familiar. This is a process, not a moment. And God is patient with you as you learn how to live from rest instead of stress. He knows how long you have been carrying certain burdens, and He is not rushing your healing. Each step you take toward trust strengthens your peace. Each moment you choose to stay with Him deepens your rest. And as you continue, you will notice that what once felt heavy no longer weighs the same, because God is carrying it with you. Stay here in this posture of openness, because God is still working within you. He is gently replacing fear with assurance and tension with calm. This peace is not temporary. It is being established within you as a new foundation. And as it settles, your heart is being prepared for what comes next. Not with anxiety, but with confidence. Continue to breathe, continue to listen, and continue to trust, because God is not finished yet. As this peace continues to unfold within you, begin to notice how God is teaching your heart to slow its rhythm and your thoughts to soften their grip. What once felt urgent is no longer demanding immediate attention, because peace creates space for wisdom to speak. God does not rush you into decisions when your heart is overwhelmed. He waits until peace steadies you so you can hear His guidance clearly. When peace is present, your spirit becomes more receptive, and discernment begins to rise where confusion once lived. This is how God leads you, not through panic, but through quiet assurance. You may start to recognize patterns in your life where anxiety once dictated your reactions. But now there is a pause, a moment where you breathe and choose differently. That pause is not hesitation, it is maturity, and it is evidence that God's peace is doing its work within you. Instead of reacting from fear, you are learning to respond from trust. And that shift protects your heart from unnecessary stress. Peace gives you permission to slow down without feeling guilty or irresponsible. It reminds you that God is not limited by time the way you are. God's peace also helps you release the internal pressure to be everything for everyone, because carrying the weight of unrealistic expectations will always exhaust your soul. You were never meant to solve every problem, meet every demand, or carry every burden alone. When peace settles in, you begin to understand that God is the only one capable of holding everything together. Your role is not to carry the world, but to trust the one who does. This realization brings freedom, because it allows you to rest without fear of failure. There are moments when your heart has been tired, not because of what you are doing, but because of what you are holding inside. Unspoken worries, unresolved fears, and constant internal tension can quietly drain your strength. God's peace begins to loosen those internal knots, bringing relief where you did not even realize you were tense. As you release what has been stored inside your heart, your spirit begins to breathe again. This is healing happening gently, without force or pressure. As peace deepens, God may begin to reveal areas where fear has been shaping your decisions without you noticing. Fear often disguises itself as responsibility, caution, or practicality, but its fruit is always tension and restlessness. God's peace does not remove wisdom or awareness. It removes the anxiety attached to them. When fear loses its grip, you begin to make decisions with clarity rather than dread. Peace restores your ability to see situations through the lens of faith instead of worry. God also uses peace to heal the way you view yourself, especially if you have been harsh, critical, or unforgiving toward your own weaknesses. Anxiety often grows when you believe you must perform perfectly to be worthy of rest. But God's peace tells you that you are already accepted, already seen, already loved. You do not need to earn God's presence or prove your value through constant striving. When this truth settles in, self-compassion replaces self-pressure. Peace invites you to trust that God's timing is intentional, even when it does not align with your expectations. You may have prayed for change that has not yet arrived, but delay does not mean denial. God's peace helps you wait without resentment and hope without desperation. It reminds you that God is never late, even when you do not understand his pace. Waiting becomes bearable when peace guards your heart. As peace continues its work, you may find yourself less reactive to external noise, opinions, and pressure from others. What once unsettled you no longer holds the same power, because your sense of security is being rebuilt from the inside out. Peace strengthens your boundaries by helping you distinguish between what truly matters and what drains your energy unnecessarily. You no longer feel compelled to respond to every demand or explain yourself to everyone. God's peace teaches you when to speak and when to rest. There is a quiet confidence that comes with peace, not arrogance or control, but a calm assurance that God is present in your life. This confidence allows you to move through your day without constantly questioning yourself or fearing judgment. You begin to trust that God is guiding your steps, even when the path ahead is not fully clear. Peace gives you courage without aggression and strength without strain. It is power expressed through calm. God's peace also renews your ability to listen, not just to him, but to others, because anxiety often makes us inward-focused and distracted. When peace is present, your heart becomes more open, patient, and attentive. You are no longer rushing through conversations or mentally rehearsing worries while someone is speaking. This allows connection to grow and relationships to heal. Peace makes space for presence. As peace becomes more familiar, you may notice that your body begins to respond as well, with slower breathing, relaxed muscles, and deeper rest. God created your body and your soul to work together, and when your spirit finds rest, your body often follows. Tension releases from places you did not realize were holding stress. This is part of God's design, because his peace touches every part of who you are. You were never meant to live in constant survival mode. There will still be moments when challenges arise, but peace teaches you how to meet them without losing yourself. Instead of bracing for impact, you learn to lean into God's presence. Instead of assuming the worst, you choose to trust God with the unknown. Peace does not eliminate difficulty, it equips you to handle it with grace. This is how God sustains you over time. God's peace also helps you let go of the belief that rest means giving up or falling behind. Rest is not surrendering your responsibilities, it is surrendering your fear. When you rest in God, you are actively trusting Him to work in ways you cannot. This kind of rest strengthens you rather than weakens you. It prepares you to move forward with clarity and purpose. As you continue, allow this peace to become something you return to throughout your day. When tension rises, pause and breathe, reminding yourself that God is with you. When fear tries to speak, return to truth instead of reacting. Peace grows stronger each time you choose trust over control. This is a skill you are learning, and God is patient with you as you practice it. You are not being asked to become someone new overnight, but to allow God to gently reshape the way you carry life. Peace does not arrive all at once. It settles layer by layer, addressing each area where anxiety once lived. God is faithful to continue this work within you. What He is building now will support you in future seasons. This peace is becoming a foundation, not a moment. Stay open, stay present, and stay willing, because God is still speaking to your heart. He is not finished revealing His care and faithfulness to you. This calm you are sensing is not temporary. It is being established within you. As we move forward, this peace will continue to deepen, steady, and strengthen you for what lies ahead. As this peace continues to take root, begin to understand that God is not only calming your heart, He is reshaping how you carry responsibility. Many burdens feel heavier than they truly are, because fear has been adding unnecessary weight to them. God never intended for you to shoulder tomorrow's worries while still walking through today's assignments. When peace governs your heart, you learn to carry only what belongs to the present moment. This is how God preserves your strength and protects your spirit from exhaustion. You may realize that much of your inner tension has come from the habit of anticipating problems before they arrive. The mind rehearses conversations that have not happened, imagines outcomes that may never occur, and prepares for battles that God has not assigned. Peace interrupts that cycle and gently pulls your thoughts back into trust. God is reminding you that He is already present in the future you fear. You do not need to arrive there anxious when God is already there faithful. As peace settles, it becomes easier to separate what you can influence from what you must entrust to God. Anxiety blurs this line and convinces you that everything depends on you. Peace restores clarity and reminds you that God is the ultimate keeper of outcomes. Your responsibility is obedience and faithfulness, not control. When you release control, peace fills the space it once occupied. God's peace also begins to quiet the internal critic that constantly questions whether you are doing enough or being enough. That voice often sounds logical, but it is fueled by fear rather than truth. God does not measure your worth by productivity or perfection. He values your heart, your trust, and your willingness to depend on Him. Peace silences condemnation and replaces it with assurance. There is a freedom that comes when peace teaches you that rest is not something you take after everything is finished, but something you practice while life continues. Waiting for perfect conditions before resting will keep you tense indefinitely. God invites you to rest now, even in the middle of unfinished tasks and unresolved situations. This kind of rest declares faith, not negligence. It says you trust God to work even while you pause. As your heart grows quieter, you may notice that your prayers become less frantic and more sincere. Instead of trying to convince God to act, you begin trusting that He already cares. Peace shifts prayer from desperation to intimacy, You speak honestly without panic and listen without pressure. God meets you in this calm, attentive space. God's peace also teaches you patience with yourself, especially if you have been hard on your own healing process. Healing is not linear, and moments of anxiety do not mean failure. Peace allows you to acknowledge progress without demanding perfection. God celebrates every step you take toward trust, even the small ones. This compassion toward yourself strengthens your ability to remain steady. As peace grows, your reactions to others may soften as well. Stress often makes people sharp, guarded, or withdrawn, but peace restores gentleness. You become less defensive because your security is no longer threatened by every opinion. You listen without feeling attacked and speak without needing to prove yourself. This calm confidence is a sign that God's peace is shaping your interaction. God's peace also brings discernment, helping you recognize when something is not yours to carry. Not every problem requires your involvement, and not every burden belongs on your shoulders. Peace gives you permission to say no without guilt and to step back without fear. God never asked you to be everything to everyone. He asked you to trust Him as He leads you. As peace continues to deepen, you may begin to feel less urgency to explain yourself or justify your choices. When you are at peace, you no longer need external validation to feel secure. God's approval becomes enough. This frees you from the exhausting cycle of people-pleasing. Peace anchors your identity in God, rather than opinions. There is also a strength that emerges from peace, a quiet resilience that does not panic under pressure. You become able to face challenges without internal chaos. Peace steadies your emotions so that problems do not immediately overwhelm you. God strengthens you from within, rather than removing every obstacle. This inner strength allows you to endure without losing hope. Peace also refines your focus, helping you see what truly matters. Anxiety scatters attention, but peace brings alignment. You begin to invest your energy where it is fruitful rather than wasting it on worry. God uses peace to redirect your priorities. This brings a sense of order to what once felt chaotic. As your heart remains open, God may gently remind you of past moments when He carried you through uncertainty. Remembering His faithfulness strengthens present peace. What He has done before, He can do again. Peace grows when memory is anchored in truth rather than fear. God's history with you becomes a source of confidence. God's peace does not make you passive. It makes you grounded. You still act, decide, and move forward, but without panic driving you. Your actions become intentional rather than reactive. Peace allows you to walk in wisdom instead of haste. This is how God protects you from unnecessary regret. As you continue resting here, notice how your breathing slows and your thoughts settle. This is not coincidence, it is alignment. Your body is responding to the calm your spirit is receiving. God designed peace to touch every part of you. When the soul rests, the body follows. Peace also teaches you to trust God with timing, especially when answers seem delayed. Delay does not equal abandonment. God works deeply before He works visibly. Peace helps you wait without resentment. It reminds you that God's process is purposeful. As peace becomes more familiar, you may find yourself returning to it naturally when stress arises. This is spiritual maturity forming. Instead of spiraling, you pause and reconnect with God's presence. Each return strengthens peace. God is training your heart to choose rest. You are learning that peace is not an escape from life, but a way of living within it. It allows you to remain present without being consumed. God wants you whole, not constantly overwhelmed. This peace is part of His care for you, and as it settles, it will continue preparing you for what lies ahead. As peace continues to mature within you, God begins to teach your heart how to remain steady, even when circumstances shift unexpectedly. This steadiness is not emotional numbness, but spiritual grounding that keeps you from being thrown off balance by sudden changes. When peace governs your inner world, external disruptions lose their power to shake you deeply. God is showing you that you do not need perfect stability around you to experience stability within you. This inner steadiness is a gift that grows stronger with trust. You may begin to notice that situations which once triggered immediate worry now invite reflection instead. This is because peace creates space between what happens and how you respond. In that space, God gives you wisdom instead of impulse and calm instead of panic. You are no longer driven by the need to react instantly. God is teaching you that thoughtful responses protect your heart. As peace deepens, you start to recognize how much energy anxiety once consumed without you realizing it. Worry drains strength quietly, leaving you tired even when you have done little physically. God's peace restores that lost energy by removing the constant inner tension. When the soul rests, strength returns naturally. This is how God renews you without forcing you. God's peace also brings honesty to the surface, allowing you to acknowledge what truly frightens you without being ruled by it. Fear loses its power when it is brought into God's presence. You no longer need to pretend you are strong when you feel weak. God meets you in truth, not performance. Peace grows when you stop hiding and start trusting. There is a gentleness to God's peace that reassures rather than overwhelms. It does not arrive with pressure or demand, but with quiet consistency. God is patient as He teaches your heart a new rhythm. He does not rush your healing or scold your setbacks. Peace develops through repeated reassurance. As peace settles, God may begin to shift how you define success and failure. Anxiety often equates success with control and failure with uncertainty. God's peace reframes success as obedience and trust. You learn that faithfulness matters more than flawless outcomes. This new perspective brings freedom. Peace also helps you release the fear of disappointing others. When your worth is anchored in God's love, external approval becomes less controlling. You are able to serve without losing yourself. God never intended for you to live under constant evaluation. Peace restores your sense of identity. God's peace gently confronts the habit of overthinking that keeps your mind restless. Overanalysis often masquerades as responsibility but produces confusion instead. Peace simplifies what anxiety complicates. It helps you focus on what God is asking of you now. Clarity replaces mental clutter. As peace continues its work, your trust in God's character becomes deeper than your trust in circumstances. You begin to rely less on visible signs and more on God's promises. This does not make you careless, it makes you confident. Faith grows strongest when peace sustains it. God is strengthening that foundation within you. You may find that peace makes room for gratitude to grow naturally. Anxiety focuses on what is missing, but peace highlights what is present. Gratitude shifts your awareness from fear to provision. God uses thankfulness to reinforce peace. This cycle strengthens your spiritual resilience. Peace also teaches you to rest without guilt, even when tasks remain unfinished. You learn that stopping does not mean failing. God does not measure your value by constant output. He values your willingness to trust Him enough to pause. Rest becomes an act of faith. As peace increases, your ability to wait improves without bitterness. Waiting no longer feels like punishment but preparation. God uses seasons of waiting to deepen roots that will later support growth. Peace allows you to endure waiting without resentment. Trust grows quietly during these times. God's peace helps you recognize when striving has replaced dependence. Striving exhausts, but dependence restores. Peace invites you back into reliance on God's strength rather than your own. You learn that surrender is not giving up, but letting God take over. This shift brings relief. You may notice that peace allows you to forgive more easily, including forgiving yourself. Anxiety often keeps old wounds open, but peace promotes healing. God softens your heart where hardness once protected pain. Forgiveness becomes possible without force. Healing follows naturally. As peace settles deeper, your confidence becomes quieter but stronger. You no longer need to prove your strength because you trust God's presence. This confidence is rooted in humility rather than control. God strengthens you without making you rigid. Peace supports gentle strength. God's peace also protects you from burnout by reminding you of your limits. You are not meant to function endlessly without rest. Peace honors your humanity and your need for renewal. God designed you with rhythms, not relentless pace. Rest sustains longevity. As you remain open, peace begins to feel less like something you seek and more like something you live from. It becomes the atmosphere of your inner life. God establishes peace as a default rather than an exception. This transformation happens gradually but firmly. Trust makes it possible. You are being trained to carry peace forward into future challenges. God does not only give peace for now, but prepares you for what lies ahead. This peace will steady you in moments you cannot yet see. It will remind you of God's faithfulness when fear tries to return. What is being formed in you now will serve you later. Stay present in this unfolding work, because God is still shaping your heart. He is building endurance, trust, and calm within you. This peace is becoming part of who you are, not just what you feel. God is faithful to complete what He begins. And as you continue, this peace will remain with you. As this peace continues to strengthen within you, God begins to teach your heart how to remain anchored when emotions rise unexpectedly. Feelings may still come and go, but they no longer have authority to rule your decisions or define your direction. Peace gives you the ability to observe your emotions without being controlled by them. God is helping you respond from truth instead of reacting from feeling. This is emotional freedom taking shape within your spirit. You may notice that your thoughts are no longer racing as quickly from one concern to another, because peace slows the pace of your inner dialogue. When the mind is no longer pressured to solve everything instantly, clarity has room to emerge. God often speaks most clearly when the noise settles. Peace does not silence wisdom, it amplifies it. This is how discernment becomes sharper without strain. As peace grows, God gently loosens the grip of fear that once made you imagine the worst-case scenario first. Fear trains the mind to expect loss, but peace retrains the heart to expect God's faithfulness. This does not mean you ignore reality. It means you trust God within reality. When peace leads, your expectations are shaped by hope instead of dread. God is renewing the way you anticipate the future. Peace also helps you recognize when you have been carrying emotional burdens that belong to other people. Compassion does not require you to absorb everyone else's pain. God's peace creates healthy boundaries that allow you to care without collapsing. You learn to intercede without internalizing distress. This balance protects your heart while keeping it open. As peace settles deeper, your relationship with silence may begin to change. Silence no longer feels threatening or empty, but restorative and safe. God often uses quiet moments to restore what constant noise has depleted. In silence, your spirit has room to breathe and listen. Peace transforms stillness into nourishment. God's peace also invites you to trust Him with outcomes you cannot predict. Anxiety demands certainty, but peace rests in confidence, even without guarantees. God never promised you full visibility, but He did promise His presence. When you trust His presence, you no longer need to see the entire path. Peace allows you to walk forward without fear of the unknown. You may begin to sense that your heart is less guarded than before, because peace removes the need for constant self-protection. Fear builds walls, but peace builds trust. This does not make you careless, it makes you secure. God is healing places where you learn to protect yourself out of pain. Peace allows vulnerability without danger. As peace continues to work, God may reveal patterns of control that once felt necessary but were fueled by fear. Control often appears responsible, but it is exhausting to maintain. Peace invites you to release what you cannot manage and trust God to oversee it. Letting go does not mean losing ground. It means gaining rest. God is teaching you to depend without anxiety. Peace also reshapes how you view setbacks, helping you see them as moments of learning rather than proof of failure. Anxiety interprets obstacles as threats, but peace interprets them as opportunities for growth. God is not discouraged by your challenges, and He does not abandon you in them. With peace, you begin to face difficulty without despair. Hope remains intact even when plans change. As peace settles, you may find it easier to accept help without feeling weak or ashamed. Anxiety often convinces you that needing help is failure. Peace reminds you that God designed community and support as part of His care. Receiving help becomes an act of humility rather than defeat. God works through others as well as directly. God's peace also calms the urgency that makes everything feel like an emergency. When urgency fades, wisdom takes its place. You begin to prioritize what truly matters instead of reacting to every demand. Peace helps you recognize what can wait and what requires attention. This discernment protects your energy. As peace becomes more familiar, you may notice that your prayers are marked by trust rather than tension. You pray believing God hears you, not fearing He will ignore you. Prayer becomes a place of connection instead of negotiation. God delights in meeting you there. Peace deepens your communion with Him. Peace also brings alignment between your values and your actions, reducing the internal conflict that creates stress. When your heart is settled, decisions feel clearer because they align with your faith. God uses peace as confirmation, not confusion. When something disrupts your peace, it invites you to pause and seek Him. This alignment brings integrity to your walk. You may realize that peace allows you to be patient with others, even when they move slower or think differently than you do. Anxiety often demands speed and agreement, but peace allows space and understanding. God's peace softens impatience and tempers frustration. Relationships benefit when peace leads. God uses peace to heal connection. As peace deepens, your resilience increases, not because life becomes easier, but because your inner foundation becomes stronger. Challenges no longer drain you the way they once did. Peace sustains you through endurance rather than adrenaline. God builds lasting strength this way. You are learning how to stand without strain. God's peace also protects your joy, keeping it from being stolen by daily frustrations. Joy does not disappear when problems arise. It simply adapts and remains. Peace guards joy by keeping fear from overwhelming it. God wants your joy preserved, not fragile. Peace becomes its shelter. As you continue to remain open, peace becomes less reactive and more constant. It no longer depends on perfect moments, but flows steadily through imperfect ones. God establishes peace as a stable presence rather than a fleeting feeling. This stability supports your faith. You are being grounded in God's care. What God is forming within you now will not fade when this moment ends. This peace is meant to accompany you into your day, your decisions, and your conversations. It will remind you of truth when fear tries to return. God is faithful to sustain what He begins. Remain receptive, because this work is ongoing and purposeful. As this peace continues to deepen within you, God is teaching your heart how to remain calm even when life presents uncertainty without warning. There will still be moments when situations arise that you did not plan for, but peace keeps you from being shaken at your core. Instead of immediately bracing for impact, you are learning to pause and remember that God is already present in whatever you face. Peace does not remove surprises, but it removes the panic that often follows them. This is how God trains your spirit to remain steady. You may begin to sense that your inner dialogue is changing, becoming kinder, calmer, and more rooted in truth. Where anxiety once spoke harshly and relentlessly, peace now responds with reassurance. and faith. God is reshaping the way you speak to yourself, replacing fear-driven narratives with trust-filled reminders. This shift matters deeply because the way you speak internally shapes how you experience life externally. Peace teaches your mind to align with God's voice rather than fear's accusation. As peace grows stronger, you may notice that your reactions to setbacks feel different than before. What once felt like failure now feels like redirection, and what once felt like loss now feels like transition. God's peace reframes your perspective so that obstacles no longer define your worth or your future. You begin to trust that God can use detours without wasting time. Peace keeps hope alive even when plans change unexpectedly. God's peace also softens your resistance to rest, especially if you have learned to equate busyness with value. You begin to understand that constant motion is not the same as meaningful progress. Peace reminds you that God works just as powerfully in stillness as He does in action. When you rest, you are not falling behind. You are aligning yourself with God's rhythm. This alignment restores your strength. As peace settles further, your heart becomes more receptive to gratitude, even in imperfect circumstances. Gratitude does not deny difficulty, but it acknowledges God's presence within it. Peace allows gratitude to grow naturally, without forcing positivity. You begin to notice small mercies, quiet blessings, and moments of grace that anxiety once overshadowed. God uses gratitude to deepen peace and expand awareness. You may find that peace helps you release the need to revisit old regrets or replay past decisions endlessly. Anxiety thrives on what-ifs, but peace anchors you in what is. God does not ask you to rewrite the past. He asks you to trust Him with the present. When peace reigns, regret loses its grip and learning replaces shame. This frees your heart to move forward without being weighed down. God's peace also creates space for hope to rise again, especially if disappointment has made you cautious. Hope feels risky when you have been hurt, but peace assures you that trusting God is always safe. God does not mock your hope or punish your faith. He welcomes it and nurtures it patiently. Peace allows hope to return without fear of being crushed. As peace continues to shape your heart, you may notice that your patience with processes improves. You no longer demand immediate results to feel secure. God works in stages, layers, and seasons, and peace helps you honor that process. Waiting becomes a place of preparation rather than frustration. Peace gives you endurance without bitterness. Peace also strengthens your ability to discern what deserves your energy and what does not. Anxiety pulls you toward everything at once, but peace brings focus. You learn to invest your attention where it matters most and release distractions that drain you. God uses peace to clarify priorities. This clarity protects your time and spirit. As peace becomes more familiar, you may feel less threatened by uncertainty itself. The unknown no longer feels like danger, but like a space where God can move. Peace reminds you that you are not walking into the unknown alone. God goes before you and walks beside you. This assurance replaces fear with quiet confidence. God's peace also heals your relationship with waiting, especially if waiting has felt like punishment in the past. Peace reframes waiting as trust in motion. Even when you are still externally, God is active internally. He is shaping character, deepening faith, and strengthening foundations. Peace allows you to wait without losing hope. You may notice that peace brings emotional balance, helping you feel deeply without being overwhelmed. Emotions are no longer enemies to suppress or forces to fear. Peace allows feelings to pass through without defining you. God gives you emotional freedom without chaos. This balance supports long-term well-being. As peace continues to work, your sense of identity becomes more stable. You are less defined by outcomes and more anchored in who you are in God. Peace strengthens this identity by reminding you that you are loved regardless of success or failure. God's love remains constant, even when circumstances fluctuate. This truth calms insecurity. Peace also enhances your ability to listen for God's guidance, because fear often drowns out discernment. When your heart is calm, God's direction becomes clearer. Peace does not rush decisions, it clarifies them. God often uses peace as confirmation rather than confusion. This clarity protects you from impulsive choices. As you remain in this space, your heart is learning how to trust God's care more deeply than before. Trust grows through repeated experiences of peace in uncertain moments. Each time you choose rest over panic, trust strengthens. God is patiently reinforcing this pattern within you. Peace becomes your anchor. What God is establishing within you now is not temporary relief, but lasting stability. This peace is designed to carry you beyond this moment into your daily life. It will guide your reactions, steady your emotions, and ground your faith. God is faithful to sustain it. Continue to remain open, because this peace will keep growing. As this peace becomes more deeply woven into your inner life, God is teaching you how to remain calm, even when pressure tries to reassert itself. Situations may still arise that test your patience, but peace now gives you the ability to slow your response and choose faith over fear. Instead of immediately tightening inside, you are learning to breathe and remember that God is present with you. This remembrance becomes a stabilizing force that keeps anxiety from escalating. God is forming a habit of trust within your heart. You may notice that moments which once felt overwhelming now feel manageable, not because the situation changed, but because your perspective did. Peace changes how you see challenges, allowing you to view them through the lens of God's sufficiency rather than your limitations. When peace leads, problems no longer appear as threats, but as opportunities to lean on God. This shift protects your spirit from despair. God is strengthening your resilience quietly. As peace continues to grow, you may feel less compelled to rush toward immediate resolution. Anxiety demands instant closure, but peace understands process. God often works in stages that require patience and trust. Peace allows you to stay present without forcing outcomes. This patience guards your heart from unnecessary strain. God's peace also begins to heal the way you relate to uncertainty. Instead of seeing uncertainty as danger, you begin to see it as space for God to act. The unknown no longer terrifies you because you trust the one who holds it. Peace reminds you that God's guidance does not require full visibility. Faith walks forward even when clarity unfolds gradually. As peace settles, your inner world becomes less cluttered with competing thoughts. The constant mental noise begins to quiet, making room for clarity and focus. God often speaks most clearly when the heart is calm. Peace creates an environment where discernment can thrive. This clarity helps you move forward wisely. You may begin to recognize how often anxiety tried to convince you that you were alone in your struggles. Peace counters that lie by reminding you of God's nearness. Even when people misunderstand or circumstances feel isolating, God remains close. This awareness brings comfort and reassurance. Peace restores your sense of connection. God's peace also strengthens your ability to trust yourself again, especially if fear has made you doubt your judgment. When anxiety dominates, confidence erodes, but peace restores balance. You begin to trust that God is guiding you, even through imperfect decisions. This confidence is not arrogance, but assurance rooted in faith. God supports you as you move forward. As peace deepens, your emotional reactions become more balanced and less extreme. You are still able to feel joy, sadness, concern, and hope, but these emotions no longer overwhelm you. Peace acts as a stabilizer, keeping emotions from controlling your behavior. God designed emotions to inform, not dominate. Peace restores this balance. You may notice that peace gives you the courage to face difficult conversations or decisions without avoidance. Anxiety often leads to delay or withdrawal, but peace provides quiet strength. You approach challenges with calm confidence rather than dread. God equips you to act wisely without fear. Peace empowers you to engage rather than escape. God's peace also helps you release the burden of comparison that fuels insecurity. When peace reigns, you no longer measure your life against others' timelines or successes. You trust that God's plan for you is unique and intentional. This trust frees you from unnecessary pressure. Peace affirms your path. As peace becomes more established, you may find yourself more patient with God's timing. Waiting no longer feels like punishment, but preparation. God uses seasons of waiting to deepen roots that will later support growth. Peace allows you to endure these seasons without resentment. Trust matures quietly. Peace also enhances your ability to rest physically. As your body responds to the calm your spirit is receiving, tension releases from muscles that were constantly braced. Sleep becomes deeper and more restorative. God designed peace to affect your whole being. This restoration renews your strength. You may begin to notice that peace helps you forgive more readily, both others and yourself. Anxiety often holds on to grievances, but peace invites release. Forgiveness becomes possible without forcing emotions. God softens your heart where bitterness once lingered. Healing follows naturally. As peace grows, your prayers may become simpler and more sincere. Instead of lengthy explanations, you speak honestly from the heart. Peace removes the need to convince God of your needs. You trust that He already knows and cares. Prayer becomes conversation rather than effort. God's peace also protects you from burnout by reminding you of your limits. You are not meant to carry endless responsibility without rest. Peace honors your humanity and encourages balance. God values your well-being deeply. This protection sustains you over time. As peace continues to mature, it becomes easier to return to it when stress arises. You recognize the early signs of anxiety and respond with prayer and trust. Each return strengthens peace further. God is training your heart to choose rest instinctively. This habit brings stability. You are learning that peace is not an escape from reality, but a way of engaging with it wisely. It allows you to face life honestly, without being overwhelmed. God wants you present, not paralyzed by fear. Peace supports courage grounded in trust. This is spiritual strength. As you remain open, peace continues to shape your inner life, preparing you for future challenges. God is establishing a foundation that will support you in seasons ahead. This peace will remind you of His faithfulness when fear tries to return. Trust what God is building within you. He is not finished yet. As this peace continues to settle more firmly within you, God is teaching your heart how to remain grounded when life presents demands from many directions at once. Instead of feeling pulled apart by responsibilities, you are learning how to stay centered in God's presence. Peace gathers scattered thoughts and gently brings them back into alignment. When your heart is anchored, pressure loses its ability to overwhelm you. God is shaping stability from the inside out. You may notice that your sense of urgency is slowly being replaced by discernment, allowing you to recognize what truly requires your attention. Anxiety treats everything as critical, but peace teaches you to prioritize wisely. God does not call you to exhaust yourself responding to every request. He calls you to walk attentively, guided by His wisdom. Peace protects your energy by helping you move with intention. As peace deepens, your trust in God's provision begins to grow beyond circumstances. You become less dependent on visible security and more confident in God's care. Even when resources feel limited, peace reassures you that God sees and supplies. This trust releases fear around lack. God is teaching you to rest in His faithfulness rather than worry about what you cannot control. Peace also reshapes how you experience disappointment, helping you process it without despair. Instead of interpreting disappointment as failure, you begin to see it as redirection. God's peace keeps hope alive even when expectations are unmet. You learn that closed doors do not mean abandonment. Peace allows you to grieve gently while still trusting God's plan. As peace continues its work, you may notice that your inner dialogue becomes more patient and compassionate. Harsh self-judgment loses its voice as God's grace grows louder. Peace teaches you to treat yourself with the same kindness God extends to you. This compassion creates space for healing. God nurtures your heart gently. God's peace also strengthens your ability to trust His guidance, even when clarity unfolds slowly. You no longer demand immediate answers to feel secure. Peace allows you to move forward one step at a time. God often reveals direction progressively, not instantly. Trust grows as peace sustains you. As peace becomes more familiar, you may find yourself less reactive to conflict and more capable of responding thoughtfully. Anxiety seeks to defend quickly, but peace allows wisdom to speak first. God uses peace to soften your tone and steady your responses. This calm approach fosters understanding rather than escalation. Relationships benefit from this quiet strength. Peace also brings relief from the pressure to perform constantly, reminding you that your worth is not tied to productivity. God values who you are more than what you accomplish. When peace reigns, rest becomes permissible even amid unfinished work. This rest restores creativity and clarity. God honors your willingness to trust Him with outcomes. As peace continues to grow, your ability to remain present improves, allowing you to engage fully in moments without distraction. Anxiety pulls attention toward future fears, but peace anchors you in the now. God meets you in the present, not in imagined scenarios. Presence deepens your awareness of His care. Peace enhances your experience of life. You may begin to notice that peace strengthens your faith during ordinary moments, not just during crises. Trust becomes a daily posture rather than a last resort. God desires consistent relationship, not emergency-only connection. Peace sustains this closeness. Faith grows quietly in these rhythms. Peace also teaches you to release resentment that accumulates from unmet expectations. Holding on to resentment drains energy and clouds judgment. God's peace invites you to let go and trust His justice. Forgiveness becomes lighter when peace supports it. Healing follows release. As peace settles further, your confidence becomes more stable and less dependent on external affirmation. You no longer seek reassurance from every response or reaction. God's approval becomes your anchor. This security frees you from constant comparison. Peace affirms your identity. God's peace also sharpens your awareness of His presence throughout the day. You begin to notice His guidance in small decisions and quiet nudges. Peace attunes your heart to these moments. God speaks gently when the soul is calm. This awareness deepens trust. As peace continues to establish itself, you may find it easier to let go of control over situations you cannot change. Anxiety clings tightly, but peace releases gently. God invites you to surrender without fear. Letting go becomes an act of faith. Relief follows trust. Peace also renews your sense of hope, reminding you that God's plans extend beyond current circumstances. Hope feels safer when peace guards your heart. God reassures you that He is still working. This hope sustains perseverance. Peace supports endurance. As you remain open, peace becomes more than a feeling. It becomes a way of being. You carry it into conversations, decisions, and challenges. God establishes peace as a foundation within you. This foundation will support future growth. Trust continues to deepen. God is still shaping your heart, refining your trust, and strengthening your calm. What He is building now is meant to last. Peace will continue to guide and steady you. Stay receptive because this work is ongoing. God remains faithful in every step. As this peace continues to establish itself within you, God is teaching your heart how to remain composed, even when situations do not resolve as quickly as you hoped. Waiting no longer feels like wasted time, because peace reframes it as sacred space where God is still at work. You begin to understand that God's silence is not absence, but preparation. When peace is present, delays no longer feel threatening to your faith. God is strengthening your trust beneath the surface. You may start to notice that your thoughts no longer spiral as easily when something unexpected happens. Instead of assuming the worst, peace allows you to pause and ask God for perspective. This pause is powerful because it interrupts fear before it takes root. God often brings clarity after stillness, not before it. Peace creates the environment where wisdom can surface gently. As peace deepens, your heart becomes less reactive to disappointment and more resilient in uncertainty. You no longer measure God's faithfulness by immediate outcomes. Instead, you learn to trust His character, even when results are delayed. Peace teaches you that faith is not proven by speed, but by endurance. God honors a heart that remains steady while waiting. God's peace also helps you release the habit of over-explaining yourself or defending your choices constantly. When you are secure in God's guidance, you do not need universal approval. Peace frees you from the exhausting cycle of justification. You become comfortable letting God be your defender. This quiet confidence protects your emotional energy. As peace continues its work, you may find it easier to accept your limitations without shame. Anxiety often convinces you that limits are failure, but peace reminds you that limits are part of being human. God never asked you to be limitless, only faithful. When you honor your limits, you honor God's design. Peace restores balance. You may notice that peace changes how you experience stress physically, with less tension stored in your body. Tight shoulders relax, breathing deepens, and fatigue lifts gradually. God designed peace to affect your entire being, not just your thoughts. When the soul rests, the body often follows. This is restoration unfolding naturally. God's peace also strengthens your ability to remain kind under pressure. Stress often sharpens words and hardens tone, but peace softens your responses. You become slower to anger and quicker to understand. God uses peace to shape your character quietly. Relationships benefit from this gentle strength. As peace settles further, you may begin to trust God with unanswered prayers, without resentment. You no longer interpret delay as rejection. Peace allows you to believe that God hears you even when the answer is still forming. Trust deepens when peace guards your heart. God is faithful in every season. Peace also helps you recognize when rest is needed before burnout sets in. Instead of pushing through exhaustion, you become attentive to your soul's signals. God values your well-being more than relentless effort. Peace invites you to pause before damage occurs. This awareness protects you. As peace grows, your sense of purpose becomes clearer without pressure. You no longer feel the need to rush into decisions to prove progress. God reveals direction in His time. Peace allows purpose to unfold naturally. Trust replaces urgency. God's peace also encourages honesty in prayer, allowing you to speak freely without fear of judgment. You bring your doubts, questions, and concerns openly. God meets you with compassion rather than correction. Peace fosters intimacy. This openness deepens relationship. As peace becomes more stable, your joy becomes less dependent on circumstances. You find moments of contentment even when challenges remain. God's peace shelters joy from being stolen by fear. This joy strengthens your spirit. Hope remains alive. You may notice that peace allows you to forgive more deeply, releasing lingering resentment. Forgiveness becomes less about obligation and more about freedom. God's peace softens hardened places in your heart. Healing continues gently. Peace supports restoration. As peace continues to mature, you become less fearful of making mistakes. You trust that God can guide and correct you along the way. Fear of failure loses its grip. Peace encourages movement without paralysis. God walks with you. God's peace also helps you detach from outcomes you cannot control. You focus on obedience rather than results. Peace frees you from carrying responsibility that belongs to God. This surrender brings relief. Trust deepens. As peace becomes a familiar companion, you return to it instinctively when stress arises. You recognize anxiety sooner and respond with prayer and stillness. Each return strengthens peace. God is forming a habit of rest within you. This stability sustains you. You are learning that peace is not a destination you reach once, but a posture you maintain daily. God supports you in this practice. He remains patient as you grow. Peace becomes part of your spiritual rhythm. This rhythm carries you forward. Remain open and receptive, because God is still shaping your heart. This peace is not finished settling. It will continue to deepen as you trust Him. God is faithful to complete what He has begun in you. As this peace continues to deepen within you, God is teaching your heart how to remain calm, even when answers are still forming. You are learning that uncertainty does not mean danger when God is present. Peace reassures you that you do not need to understand everything in order to trust Him fully. God works beyond what you can see, and His faithfulness does not depend on your awareness. This understanding allows your heart to remain steady, even when the path ahead feels unclear. There are moments when your mind still tries to rush ahead, searching for certainty and control. Peace gently brings you back, reminding you that God operates in timing that is perfect, not hurried. When you slow your thoughts, you make room for God's wisdom to rise. Anxiety demands answers now, but peace trusts God's unfolding. This trust becomes a shelter for your heart. God's peace also teaches you how to sit with unanswered questions without letting them disturb your rest. You are discovering that faith does not require complete information. Trust grows when you rely on God's character rather than circumstances. Peace keeps your spirit anchored while questions remain unresolved. God is strengthening your ability to wait without fear. As peace settles, you may notice that your reactions to daily pressures feel less intense. What once felt overwhelming now feels approachable. God is adjusting your inner scale so problems no longer appear larger than His power. Peace recalibrates your perspective gently. This shift protects you from emotional exhaustion. You are also learning that God's peace does not disappear when mistakes happen. Instead of responding with self-criticism, you are beginning to respond with grace. Peace allows you to acknowledge errors without condemning yourself. God corrects with love, not shame. This creates space for growth instead of discouragement. God's peace continues to heal the inner tension caused by the fear of falling behind. You no longer feel driven by comparison or pressure to match someone else's pace. Peace reminds you that your journey is guided by God, not by deadlines set by others. This freedom allows you to move with confidence rather than urgency. God honors your obedience, not your speed. As peace deepens, your ability to remain focused improves. Anxiety once scattered your attention in many directions. Peace brings your thoughts back into alignment with what truly matters. God helps you discern where to invest your energy wisely. This clarity protects you from unnecessary stress. Peace also changes how you respond to silence from God. Instead of interpreting silence as neglect, you now recognize it as space for trust. God is never inactive even when He is quiet. Peace allows you to remain secure during these seasons. Trust grows beneath the surface. God's peace strengthens your emotional resilience, allowing you to feel deeply without being overwhelmed. You are no longer afraid of emotions rising. Peace provides a steady foundation beneath your feelings. God meets you in honesty rather than suppression. This balance brings emotional health. You may notice that peace helps you speak more gently to others and to yourself. Stress often sharpened your words before, but peace softens them now. God uses peace to cultivate patience and understanding. This gentleness strengthens relationships. Love flows more freely where peace leads. Peace also teaches you to recognize when something is not yours to fix. Anxiety convinced you that everything required your intervention. Peace restores boundaries that protect your strength. God invites you to trust Him with outcomes beyond your reach. This release brings relief. As peace continues to settle, your trust in God's provision becomes more secure. You no longer measure security solely by visible resources. Peace reminds you that God sees every need before you voice it. This trust quiets fear around lack. God remains faithful. God's peace also renews your sense of purpose without pressure. You no longer feel rushed to define everything at once. Peace allows purpose to unfold naturally through obedience. God reveals direction step by step. This process builds confidence without strain. You are learning that rest is not withdrawal from responsibility but reliance on God's strength. Peace allows you to pause without guilt. God works even when you stop striving. This rest restores clarity and energy. Trust grows through surrender. As peace becomes more familiar, you may find yourself returning to it instinctively during stress. Instead of spiraling, you pause and reconnect with God's presence. Each return strengthens peace further. God is forming a habit of trust within you. This habit brings stability. Peace also guards your heart from discouragement when progress feels slow. God measures growth differently than you do. Peace reminds you that transformation often happens quietly. You are becoming stronger even when you cannot see it clearly. God is patient with your process. As peace continues its work, you are learning to live from trust rather than tension. God is shaping a heart that remains steady through changing seasons. This peace is becoming part of your spiritual foundation. It will support you in moments yet to come. God remains faithful to sustain what He has begun. Stay open and attentive, because this work is ongoing. God is still strengthening your inner life. Peace will continue to deepen as you trust Him daily. What He is forming now will serve you well in the future. You are being carried, guided, and held in His care. As this peace continues to mature within you, God is teaching your heart how to remain rooted even when emotions fluctuate throughout the day. You are learning that feelings do not determine truth, and temporary emotions do not cancel eternal promises. Peace allows you to acknowledge what you feel without allowing it to govern what you believe. God is strengthening your ability to stand on truth even when emotions feel unstable. This grounding is becoming a quiet source of strength within you. There are moments when your thoughts may still wander toward worry, but peace now gently redirects them back to trust. Instead of fighting your thoughts with force, you are learning to guide them with truth. God's peace acts like a steady hand, guiding your mind away from fear and toward faith. This redirection does not exhaust you the way anxiety once did. It restores clarity without strain. God's peace is also teaching you how to remain present in moments that once triggered inattention. You no longer feel the same need to escape discomfort or rush through challenging situations. Peace gives you the ability to stay grounded while God works through the moment. This presence prevents anxiety from multiplying unnecessarily. God is helping you grow steady under pressure. As peace settles further, you may begin to notice how your trust in God is becoming more instinctive. You no longer need to convince yourself repeatedly that God is faithful. Peace allows trust to flow naturally, rather than being forced. God is building confidence through repeated experiences of rest. This trust is becoming part of who you are. You are also learning that peace does not require perfect understanding to exist. God never asked you to figure everything out before resting. Peace teaches you that trust often comes before clarity. When you accept this, mental strain begins to loosen its grip. God honors your willingness to trust Him without full answers. Peace continues to heal places where fear once kept you guarded and defensive. You are becoming more open without feeling exposed or unsafe. God's peace reassures you that vulnerability does not equal weakness. This openness allows healing to reach deeper layers of your heart. God is restoring trust gently. As peace grows, your reactions to stress become slower and more thoughtful. Instead of being driven by urgency, you are learning to pause and listen. Peace creates space for wisdom to rise before action. God often guides most clearly when you are calm. This shift protects you from unnecessary regret. God's peace also reshapes how you view progress in your life. You no longer measure growth solely by visible results. Peace reminds you that internal transformation matters deeply to God. Quiet growth is still growth. God celebrates progress you may overlook. You may notice that peace helps you release the pressure of constantly anticipating problems. Instead of expecting things to go wrong, you are learning to trust God to handle what comes. Peace changes expectation from fear to faith. God is preparing your heart to face the future without dread. This confidence is forming steadily. Peace also deepens your ability to rest in God's love without questioning your worth. Anxiety often asked whether you were enough. Peace answers by reminding you that you are already loved. God's acceptance becomes your foundation. This security calms insecurity. As peace settles, you may experience moments of joy that feel quieter but more genuine. This joy does not depend on circumstances improving. It flows from contentment rooted in trust. God's peace protects joy from being easily shaken. This joy strengthens your spirit. God's peace also helps you navigate disappointment without losing hope. You no longer interpret setbacks as final outcomes. Peace allows you to grieve without despair. God remains present even when things do not unfold as expected. Hope remains alive. You are learning that peace strengthens endurance rather than removing challenges. God does not promise a life without difficulty, but He promises presence within it. Peace enables you to continue without becoming hardened. This endurance builds spiritual depth. God is shaping resilience within you. As peace continues its work, you may find yourself more attentive to God's quiet guidance. Subtle nudges become easier to notice when fear is quieted. Peace sharpens spiritual awareness. God speaks softly, not forcefully. This attentiveness deepens relationship. Peace also helps you release the need to control timing and outcomes. Anxiety demanded certainty, but peace allows surrender. God invites you to trust His plan even when it unfolds slowly. Letting go brings relief rather than loss. Trust grows through release. You may notice that peace helps you extend grace to others more easily. When your heart is calm, compassion flows more naturally. Stress once limited patience, but peace expands it. God uses peace to soften interactions. Relationships begin to heal. As peace becomes more established, you return to it more quickly when stress appears. You recognize anxiety sooner and choose stillness instead. Each choice strengthens peace further. God is forming consistency in your inner life. This stability sustains you. What God is cultivating within you now is meant to last beyond this moment. This peace is becoming part of your spiritual posture. It will steady you through seasons of change and uncertainty. God remains faithful to sustain what He has begun. Stay receptive, because this work is still unfolding. As this peace continues to settle more deeply within you, God is teaching your heart how to remain anchored, even when life feels repetitive or slow. There are seasons when nothing dramatic seems to change, yet peace reminds you that God is still at work beneath the surface. Growth does not always announce itself loudly, and transformation often happens quietly over time. Peace helps you trust the process even when progress feels invisible. God is faithful in both movement and stillness. You may begin to notice that your need for constant reassurance has softened because peace has strengthened your inner assurance. You no longer feel the same urgency to seek confirmation from every source. God's presence becomes enough to steady your heart. This does not mean questions disappear, but but they no longer dominate your thoughts. Peace gives you confidence without noise. God's peace also teaches you how to hold hope gently, rather than desperately. Hope no longer feels like something fragile that could easily break. Peace supports hope by rooting it in God's character, rather than outcomes. You are learning to expect good without demanding timelines. This kind of hope sustains the soul without exhausting it. God nurtures hope patiently. As peace grows, your relationship with control continues to change. You may realize how often control once felt like safety, even though it brought tension. Peace shows you that true safety is found in trust, not management. God invites you to loosen your grip and rest in His care. Letting go becomes less frightening and more freeing. This surrender creates space for peace to expand. You are also learning that peace allows you to face uncertainty honestly, without becoming overwhelmed. You no longer need to avoid difficult thoughts or emotions. Peace provides stability that allows you to acknowledge reality without fear. God meets you in honesty, not denial. This courage strengthens your inner life. God's peace continues to soften your responses to frustration, especially when things do not go as planned. Instead of internal resistance, you find yourself adjusting with grace. Peace gives you flexibility without resignation. God teaches you to adapt without losing hope. This adaptability protects your heart. As peace settles further, you may notice that your inner dialogue becomes more encouraging and less critical. Anxiety once magnified shortcomings, but peace highlights growth. God speaks truth with kindness, not accusation. This gentler voice nurtures confidence. Healing continues quietly. Peace also reshapes how you experience silence in your life. Silence becomes less uncomfortable and more restorative. God often uses quiet moments to strengthen faith and clarity. Peace allows you to sit with stillness without distraction. In silence, trust deepens. You may begin to sense that peace is helping you detach from outcomes that once defined your emotional state. Success and failure no longer swing your heart as dramatically. Peace creates emotional stability that does not depend on circumstances. God remains your constant. This steadiness brings relief. God's peace also encourages you to trust your growth, even when you do not feel different every day. Transformation does not always feel dramatic. Peace reminds you that consistency matters more than intensity. God honors faithful steps, even small ones. Growth continues steadily. As peace deepens, you may find yourself more receptive to joy in simple moments. Anxiety often overlooked small blessings, but peace notices them. Gratitude flows more naturally when the heart is calm. God uses simple joys to reinforce peace. Contentment grows quietly. Peace also strengthens your ability to endure disappointment without becoming discouraged. You no longer interpret unmet expectations as personal failure. Peace allows you to grieve gently and move forward. God remains present in disappointment. Hope is preserved. God's peace continues to support emotional balance, helping you navigate highs and lows without extremes. You feel deeply without losing stability. Peace provides a steady foundation beneath shifting emotions. God designed this balance for your well-being. Stability grows. As peace becomes more integrated into your life, you may notice that stress no longer lingers as long as it once did. You recover more quickly after difficult moments. Peace helps you reset rather than dwell. God restores your emotional equilibrium. This resilience strengthens you. Peace also refines your awareness of God's presence throughout ordinary moments. You sense His nearness not only in prayer, but in daily life. Peace keeps your heart attentive. God walks with you continually. Relationship deepens. You are learning that peace does not isolate you from challenges, but equips you to meet them wisely. God does not remove every obstacle, but He strengthens your inner foundation. Peace enables endurance without bitterness. Strength grows quietly. As peace continues to establish itself, you may find that trust feels less like effort and more like instinct. You return to God naturally when tension arises. This rhythm sustains your faith. God is forming consistency within you. Stability follows. What God is building within you now is meant to carry you forward. This peace will continue to support your decisions, your relationships, and your growth. God remains faithful to nurture it. Stay open and receptive, because this work is still unfolding gently within you. As this peace continues to mature within you, God is teaching your heart how to remain faithful, even when motivation rises and falls. You are learning that peace is not dependent on emotional energy, but on spiritual grounding. Some days feel strong and clear, while others feel quiet and slow. Yet God remains constant through all of them. Peace reminds you that consistency matters more than intensity. God is strengthening your walk one steady step at a time. You may begin to notice that your faith feels less reactive and more rooted, no longer swinging wildly with circumstances. When anxiety ruled, every change felt threatening, but peace gives you a stable center. God is showing you that faith does not have to be dramatic to be powerful. Quiet trust carries great strength. This rootedness protects your heart. God's peace also teaches you how to continue moving forward, even when enthusiasm fades. You are learning that faithfulness does not always feel exciting, but it is deeply meaningful. Peace allows you to show up without pressure to feel a certain way. God honors obedience that flows from trust rather than emotion. This steadiness builds endurance. As peace deepens, your relationship with effort changes. You no longer push yourself relentlessly out of fear of falling behind. Peace helps you work from rest instead of striving for rest. God never intended effort to replace dependence on Him. When peace leads, effort becomes healthier and sustainable. You may notice that peace helps you tolerate imperfection without frustration. Situations, people, and even yourself may still fall short at times. Peace allows you to accept reality without resentment. God works within imperfection without being hindered by it. This acceptance softens your heart. God's peace also continues to quiet the fear of regression, the worry that old patterns will return. You are learning that growth is not erased by temporary struggle. Peace reassures you that setbacks do not cancel progress. God's work within you is not fragile. This confidence strengthens hope. As peace settles further, you may feel less pressure to label every experience as success or failure. Life becomes a journey rather than a scoreboard. Peace allows you to learn without judgment. God values your willingness to walk with Him more than flawless outcomes. This perspective brings freedom. Peace also reshapes how you respond to responsibility, helping you carry it without heaviness. Responsibility no longer feels like a burden that defines your worth. Peace reminds you that God carries ultimate responsibility. You are invited to participate, not to carry everything alone. This lightness restores joy. God's peace deepens your patience with God's process in your life. You no longer demand immediate transformation. Peace allows growth to unfold naturally. God works deeply and intentionally, not hastily. Trust replaces urgency. As peace becomes more established, your heart becomes less reactive to internal pressure. You no longer rush decisions just to escape discomfort. Peace gives you the courage to wait when waiting is wise. God often protects you through patience. This restraint brings clarity. Peace also strengthens your awareness of grace in daily life. You notice moments of kindness, provision, and support that anxiety once overlooked. Gratitude flows more freely. God uses gratitude to anchor peace. Contentment deepens. You may find that peace helps you engage with challenges more calmly, without internal chaos. Problems no longer dominate your inner world. Peace gives you space to think clearly and act wisely. God equips you with calm strength. This composure builds confidence. God's peace continues to heal the habit of self-blame that anxiety often fuels. You no longer replay mistakes endlessly. Peace allows learning without condemnation. God corrects gently and restores quickly. Healing progresses quietly. As peace grows, your trust in God's guidance becomes less fragile. You no longer panic when clarity takes time. Peace assures you that God is leading even when direction unfolds slowly. Faith steadies your steps. God remains near. Peace also refines your sense of balance between action and rest. You begin to recognize when to move and when to pause. God leads you through peace rather than pressure. This balance preserves your strength. Wisdom grows. As peace settles deeper, it becomes easier to remain open during uncertainty. You no longer close your heart in self-protection. Peace allows you to stay receptive without fear. God meets you in openness. Trust deepens. You are learning that peace is not something you must constantly maintain through effort, but something God sustains through relationship. Each return to Him reinforces peace. God remains faithful to restore calm whenever you seek Him. This rhythm strengthens you. What God is shaping within you now is durable and lasting. This peace will support you through ordinary days and difficult seasons alike. It will remind you of truth when fear tries to rise. God continues His work with patience and care. Remain receptive, because this peace is still growing within you. Amen.